Who are Canada Labour Code employers and employees? Before I delve into the specifics, it is probably beneficial that I set out the reason that in my professional legal practice, why I look into who constitutes Canada Labour Code employers and employees. And that is because employment practices pertaining to those employees is seriously misunderstood and implemented. The Canada Labour Code is clearly not being understood and applied, as is evident from employee termination litigation and other publicly available information, such that employees subject to the Canada Labour Code, especially at the end of their employment, are incurring serious financial consequences. Given this realization, it is important that those employees not only know that they are subject to the Canada Labour Code, but their employment situation demands specific attention, especially when their job ends and they should be collecting all the money that they are legally entitled to from their former employer. Now, the first group of employees are those in the federally regulated public sector, being the federal public service and Parliament, such as the Senate, the House of Commons, and the Library of Parliament. However, this particular group is excluded from the application of Part 3 of the Canada Labour Code, which pertains to standard hours, wages, vacations, and holidays, being the critical area that our legal practice focuses on. The second group entails private sector firms and municipalities in Yukon, the Northwest Territories and Nunavut. However, they are excluded from Parts 2, 3, and 4 of the Canada Labour Code, which is also interesting. Finally, the third group of employers and employees are those engaged in industries and workplaces in federally regulated private sectors, to whom the entirety of the Canada Labour Code applies, being Parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Employers and employees in federally regulated private sectors include air transportation, including airlines, airports, aerodromes, and aircraft operations, such as Air Canada, WestJet, Porter Airlines, Cargojet, the Calgary Airport Authority. Banks, including authorized foreign banks, such as RBC Royal Bank of Canada, TD Toronto Dominion Bank, CIBC Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, BMO Bank of Montreal, and Scotiabank. Grain elevators, feed and seed mills, feed warehouses, and grain seed cleaning plants. First Nations band councils and Indigenous self-governments. Most federal crown corporations, such as Canada Post Corporation, the Bank of Canada, and the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Port services, marine shipping, ferries, tunnels, canals, bridges, and pipelines, oil and gas, that cross international or provincial borders, such as the Toronto Port Authority, the St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation, Trans-Canada Pipeline Limited, Trans Mountain Canada Limited. Postal and courier services, such as FedEx, UPS, Purolator, DHL. Radio and television broadcasting, such as CBC, CTV, Global TV, Sirius XM, and Stingray Radio. Railways that cross provincial or international borders, and some short-line railways, such as Canadian Pacific Kansas City Limited, CN Rail, and Via Rail. Road transportation services, such as trucks and buses that cross provincial or international borders, such as Challenger Motor Freight, Day & Ross, Penske Logistics, Trimac Transportation Service, XTL Transport. Telecommunications, such as telephone, internet, telegraph, and cable systems, such as Bell, Rogers, TELUS, Cogeco. Uranium mining and processing and atomic energy, such as Bruce Power, BWXT Nuclear Energy Canada, Ontario Power Generation. Any business that is vital, essential, or integral to the operation of one of the above activities. Being employed pursuant to the Canada Labour Code means that your employment is distinguishable from employees who are subject to provincial employment standards legislation, which oftentimes is more clear-cut and understandable. As such, it is important that when your employment does come to an end, whether you are fired, terminated, dismissed, retiring, resigning, or quitting your job, your end of employment situation is properly analyzed by an employment lawyer knowledgeable in the nuances of the Canada Labour Code and what it means legally and financially to the departing employee. For legal services related to employment pursuant to the Canada Labour Code, contact our law firm to schedule a free confidential consultation. Thank you.